Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitila Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitila Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashtatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Vishnu Vishnupara Shatarashatashmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitila Vishnu Maha-Bhagavat Srila Goraksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitila Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Surup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaur Mandal Rajamandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishya Bharata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Radha Kunda Shama Kuni Muna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Lochan Das Thakur ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirava Titi ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayanati Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Itadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhavo Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedustang Sarva Bhutaridayam Munimanatosmi. Narayanam Namaskrityam Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shrinvatang Svakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Ridantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshvavadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavaivasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam Bhakta Vihina Aparada Laksha Ekshiptashtakama Ditaranga Madhe Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charana Ravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, so yesterday we read about the 5th Raivata and the 6th Chakshusha Manvantars. 6 types of main personalities in the 5th and 6th Manvantar. Then we read about Parikshit's inquiries about the Samudra Manthan the churning of the milk ocean. Parikshit eagerly asks about the Lord's purpose and the products coming from the churning of the milk ocean and the Lord's form of korma. The churning of the milk ocean and the Lord's form of korma. The defeated, I'll read from 15 on. So Parikshit asked 4 questions. Why and how did Lord Vishnu churn the milk ocean? Why did he stay in the water as a tortoise and hold up Mandara mountain? How did the demigods obtain the nectar? What other things were produced from the churning of the ocean? And so, once Durvasa Muni saw Indra on the back of his elephant Airavat and was pleased to offer garlands from his own neck. Indra, being too puffed up, took the garland and disrespectfully placed it on his elephant's trunk. Being an animal, the elephant could not understand its value and smashed it under its feet. Insulted thus, Durvasa Muni cursed Indra to be poverty-stricken. Then there's a note. To be materially opulent is sometimes risky. Too much wealth could make one blind, and out of vanity, one may commit offenses to great personalities. One must learn to be sober and well-behaved toward Vaishnavas, otherwise one will fall down. Due to Durvasa Muni's curse, the demigods lost in a fight with the demons, falling down almost dead. The 3 worlds became poverty-stricken, and all rituals and sacrifices could not be performed. Indra, Varuna, and the other demigods, not finding any solution, went to Lord Brahmā of Sumeru mountain. They offered obeisances and informed him of all that had happened. Seeing the demigods bereft of strength and the 3 worlds devoid of auspiciousness, while the demons were flourishing, powerful Brahma concentrated his mind on the Supreme Lord Vishnu and spoke to the demigods joyfully. Brahma induces the demigods to take Lord Vishnu's shelter. Let us take shelter of the Supreme Lord, from whom I, Shiva, all of you demigods, the demons, the 4 types of jivas. What are the 4 different kinds of jivas? Oh, the jivas that are Swedaja, born of perspiration, Antaja, born of eggs, Udbija, sprouting from the earth, trees and plants, and Jarayuja, born from embryos. So may all the kinds of jivas that have been created via the agencies of his expansions, like Brahma, incarnation of Rajagun, and the great sages. Let us take shelter of that Supreme Lord. Although Lord Brahma accepts Rajas for creation and Shiva accepts Tamas for destruction, the Supreme Lord is equal in all cases. He accepts them in the sense that he is non-different from his energies. The Supreme Lord's impartial nature. For him, no one is to be killed or protected, and no one is to be neglected or favored. Still, to create, maintain, and annihilate the material world, the Lord accepts different incarnations in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, as per time. But this is not the time for destruction and tamas. Now is the time for maintenance and protection, sthiti palanakshana, by invoking goodness. So let us take shelter of the Lord, the universal teacher. Being naturally dear to the demigods, he will bestow good fortune upon his devotees. Note: devotees are dear to Lord Krishna. Even those on the lower stages of bhakti are dear to him. If they continue to execute bhakti, Krishna will be pleased to give them guidance and help them, and he'll give them guidance to come back to him eventually. Brahma then took the demigods to Shvetadvip, the spiritual abode of the Supreme Lord, in the ocean of milk. Although Brahma had never seen the Supreme Lord, he heard about him from the Vedas, so he offered prayers approved by the Vedas with an undeviated mind. Hearing is seeing. If we don't have faith, even if we see God with our own eyes, we'll not be able to understand him. Seeing the Lord is not as important as appreciating him from the authentic scriptures or the statements of authorized persons, devotees. So Lord Brahma's prayers unto the Supreme Lord. Various attributes of the Supreme Lord. Oh, let me see who's all here. Sorry I'm so late today, guys. It's entirely my fault. Dandavat pranams Yashji, Madhavi Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Didi, Gargaraji, Braja Mataji, Rup Manjari Didi. Oh yes, and it's also the birthday, I think I mentioned Lochan Das Thakur and the Jaidwani, but it's also the birthday of our dear Shrimati Uma Didi. Yes, we're going to do kirtan for her today here at 11 o'clock in Gopinath Bhavan. Dandavat pranams Indira Mataji. Shri Brahmo Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhashayam Nishkalam Apratarkyam Manograyanang Vachasang Niruktam Namamahe Deva Varang Varenyam. Lord Brahma said, oh wait, 1 second, let me just check that I have the right speaker going. Okay, I do. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord, O changeless, unlimited, supreme truth, you are the origin of everything. Being all-pervading, you are in everyone's heart and also in the atom. You have no material qualities. Indeed, you are inconceivable. The mind cannot catch you by speculation, and words fail to describe you. You are the supreme master of everyone, and therefore you are worshipable for everyone. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not anything of material creation. Everything material must change from one form to another. For example, from earth to earthen pot, and from earthen pot to earth again. All our creations are temporary and impermanent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is eternal, and similarly, the living entities, who are parts of him, are also eternal. Mamai Vangsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sanatan, eternal, and the individual living entities are also eternal. The difference is that Krishna, or God, is the Supreme Eternal, whereas the individual souls are minute, fragmental eternals. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Kshetra Gyam Chapimam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Although the Lord is a living being and the individual souls are living beings, the Supreme Lord, unlike the individual souls, is Vibhu, all-pervading, and Ananta, unlimited. The Lord is the cause of everything. The living entities are innumerable, but the Lord is one. No one is greater than him, and no one is equal to him. Thus the Lord is the supreme worshipable object, as understood from the Vedic mantras. Natat shamas cha bhyadikascha drishyate. The Lord is supreme, because no one can evaluate him by mental speculation or jugglery of words. The Lord can travel more quickly than the mind. In the Shruti mantras of Ishupanishad, it is said, Ane jad ekam manaso javiyo naina deva apnuvan purvam arshat tadhavato nyan atyeti tishtat tasmin apo matar shiva dadhati. Although fixed in his abode, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him, although in one place, he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. That's from Ishupanishad 4. Thus, the Supreme is never to be equaled by the subordinate living entities. Because the Lord is situated in everyone's heart and the individual living entity is not, never should the living entity be equated with the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Lord says, Sarvasva chaham hridisan navishta. I am situated in everyone's heart. This does not mean, however, that everyone is equal to the Lord. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said, Hridi hyayam atma pratishtita. In the beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is said, Satyam parang dhimahi. The Vedic mantras say, Satyam Jnanam Anantam and Nishkalam Nishkriyam Shantam Niradvadyam. God is supreme. Although naturally he does not do anything, he does everything. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatam idang sarvam jagaravyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani na chaham teshvavastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. It's Bhagavad Gita 9:4. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunana kunteya jagarvi parivartate. This material nature, working under my direction, O son of Kunti, is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. It's Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Thus, although the Lord is silent in his abode, he is doing everything through his different energies. All the Vedic mantras, or Shruti mantras, are included in this verse spoken by Lord Brahma. For Brahma and his followers, the Brahma Sampradaya, understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Parampara system. We have to gain understanding through the words of our predecessors. There are 12 Mahajans, or authorities, of whom Brahma is one. Swayambhur Naradas Shampu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Palir Vaya Sakir Vayam. We belong to the disciplic succession of Brahma, and therefore we are known as the Brahma Sampradaya. As the demigods follow Lord Brahma to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we also have to follow the authorities of the Parampara system to understand the Lord. Vipashchitam prana mano dhyatmanam artendriya bhasam anidram avranam chayat poyatra nagridhra paksho tamaksharam kaum triyugam vrajamahe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead directly and indirectly knows how everything, including living force, mind, and intelligence, is working under his control. He is the illuminator of everything and has no ignorance. He does not have a material body subject to the reactions of previous activities, and he is free from the ignorance of partially and materialistic education. He is free from the ignorance of partiality and materialistic education. I therefore take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who is eternal, all-pervading, and as great as the sky, and who appears with 6 opulences in 3 yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dvapara. 3 yuga, because in the Kali Yuga he comes in a concealed form. In the beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in this way. Rasya yaton vayad itaratas charteshvabhigya. The Lord is the origin of all emanations, and He is directly he directly and indirectly knows everything about all the activities within His creation. Therefore, the Lord is addressed here as Vyashtitam, one who is full of all Vedic knowledge or who knows everything. The Lord is a supreme soul, and He knows everything about the living entities and their senses. The word anidram, meaning always awake and free from ignorance, is very important in this verse. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Matasmritir Gyanam Apohanam Cha. It is the Lord who gives intelligence to everyone and who causes everyone to forget. There are millions and millions of living entities, and the Lord gives them directions. Therefore, He has no time to sleep, and He is never in ignorance of our activities. The Lord is the witness of everything. He sees what we are doing at every moment. The Lord is not covered by a body resulting from karma. Our bodies are formed as a result of our past deeds, karmana daivanetarena. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not have a material body, and therefore He has no avidya, ignorance. He does not sleep, but is always alert and awake. The Supreme Lord is described as Tri Yuga, because although He appeared variously in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga, when He appeared in Kali Yuga, He never declared Himself the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam Sango Pangastar Parshadam. The Lord appears in Kali Yuga as a devotee. Thus, although He is Krishna, He chants the Hare Krishna mantra like a devotee. Still, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.5.32 recommends Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose complexion is not black like that of Krishna, but is golden, Trisha Krishnam, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is accompanied by associates like Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. Those who are sufficiently intelligent worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by performing Sankirtan Yajna. In this incarnation, the Supreme Lord declares Himself not to be the Supreme Lord, and therefore He is known as Tri Yuga. Ajasya Chakram Tvajayeryamanam Manomayam Pancha Dasharamashu Trina Vidyut Chalamashtine Ashtanemi Yarakshamahustamritam Prapadde. In the cycle of material activities, the material body resembles the wheel of a mental chariot. The 10 senses, 5 for working and 5 for gathering knowledge, and the 5 life airs within the body form the 15 spokes of the chariot's wheel. The 3 modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are its center of activities, and the 8 ingredients of nature, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego, comprise the rim of the wheel. External material energy moves this wheel like electrical energy. Thus, the wheel revolves very quickly around its hub or central support, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supersoul and the ultimate truth. We offer our respectful obeisances unto Him. Okay, just give me a second. I need to get some water. Yeah, 1 second. Okay. Purport, and I just got a message. Okay. Purport. The cycle of repeated birth and death is figuratively described herein, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.5. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. The entire world is going on because the living entity, who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is utilizing the material energy. Under the clutches of the material energy, the Jivatma is revolving on the wheel of birth and death under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The central point is the Supersoul. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 1861, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddesher Junatishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated on a machine made of the material energy. The material body of the living entity is a result of the conditioned soul's activities, and because the supporter is a supersoul, the supersoul is the true reality. Every one of us, therefore, should offer respectful obeisances to this central reality. One should not be misguided by the activities of this material world and forget the central point, the absolute truth. That is the instruction given here by Lord Brahma. Ya ekavarnam parang tad alokamamanantaparam asam chakaro pasuparnametam enam upasate yogarathena dhira. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, and therefore he is Ekavarna, the Omkar, Pranav. Because the Lord is beyond the cosmic manifestation, which is considered to be darkness, he is not visible to material eyes. Nonetheless, he is not separated from us by time or space, but is present everywhere. Seated on his carrier, Garuda, he is worshipped by means of mystical yogic power, by those who have achieved freedom from agitation. Let us all offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Purport. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam, Bhagavad Gita 4.3.23. In this material world, the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, prevail. Among these three, goodness is the platform of knowledge, and passion brings about a mixture of knowledge and ignorance. But the mode of ignorance is full of darkness. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is beyond darkness and compassion. He is on the platform where goodness or knowledge is not disturbed by passion and ignorance. This is called the Vasudev platform. It is on this platform of Vasudev that Vasudev, or Krishna, can appear. Thus, Krishna appeared on this planet as the son of Vasudev. Because the Lord is situated on the three modes of material nature, he is unseen by those who are dominated by these three modes. One must therefore become dhira, or undisturbed by the modes of material nature. The process of yoga may be practiced by one who is free from the agitation of these modes. Therefore, yoga is defined in this way: yoga indriya samyama. As previously explained, we are disturbed by the indriyas, or senses. Moreover, we are agitated by the three modes of material nature, which are imposed upon us by the external energy. In conditional life, the living entity moves turbulently in the whirlpool of birth, but when one is situated on the transcendental platform of Vishuddha Sattva, pure goodness, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who sits on the back of Garuda. Lord Brahma offers his respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Lord. Nayasya kaschatititartimayam yaya janamo yati vedarham tang nirjitatmatmagunang parishang namamabhuteshu samang charantam. No one can overcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusory energy, Maya, which is so strong that it bewilders everyone, making one lose the sense to understand the aim of life. That same Maya, however, is subdued by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who rules everyone and who is equally disposed toward all living entities. Let us offer our obeisances unto him. Purport. The prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, certainly controls all living entities, so much so that the living entities have forgotten the aim of life. Nate vidu swarta gatem hi Vishnum. The living entities have forgotten that the aim of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. The external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives all conditioned souls what appears to be an opportunity to be happy within this material world. But that is Maya. In other words, it is a dream that is never to be fulfilled. Thus, every living being is illusioned by the external energy of the Supreme Lord. That illusory energy is undoubtedly very strong, but she is fully under the control of the transcendental person who is described in this verse as Paresham, the transcendental Lord. The Lord is not part of the material creation, but is beyond the creation. Therefore, not only does he control the conditioned souls through his external energy, but he also controls the external energy itself. Bhagavad Gita clearly says that the strong material energy controls everyone, and that getting out of her control is extremely difficult. That controlling energy belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and works under his control. The living entities, however, being subdued by the material energy, have forgotten the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ime vayam yat priyayaiva tanva satvena shrishta bahirantaravi gatem nashukshmam rishayascha virmahe kuto suradhya itara. Since our bodies are made of sattva gun, we, the demigods, are internally and externally situated in goodness. All the great are also situated in that way. Therefore, if even we cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is to be said of those who are most insignificant in their bodily constitutions, being situated in the modes of passion and ignorance? How can they understand the Lord? Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Purport. Atheists and demons cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he is situated within everyone. For them, the Lord finally appears in the form of death, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu Sarva Hrashchaham. Atheists think that they are independent, and therefore they do not care about the supremacy of the Lord. Yet the Lord asserts when he overcomes them as death. At the time of death, their attempts to use their so-called scientific knowledge and philosophical speculation to deny the supremacy of the Lord cannot work. Hiranyakashipu, for example, was an exalted representative of the atheistic of men. He always challenged the existence of God, and thus he became inimical even toward his own son. Everyone was afraid of Hiranyakashipu's atheistic principles. Nonetheless, when Lord Nrsingadev appeared in order to kill him, Hiranyakashipu's atheistic principles could not save him. Lord Nrsingadev killed Hiranyakashipu and took away all his power, influence, and pride. Atheistic men, however, never understand how everything they create is annihilated. The Supersoul is situated within them, but because of the prominence of the modes of passion and ignorance, they cannot understand the supremacy of the Lord. Even the demigods, the devotees, who are transcendentally situated or situated on the platform of goodness, are not fully aware of the qualities and position of the Lord. How then can the demons and atheists understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It is not possible. Therefore, to gain this understanding, the demigods headed by Lord Brahmā offered their respectful obeisances to the Lord. Pado mahiyam swakritaiva yasya Chaturvido yatra hi bhuta sarga Savai mahapurushu atmatantraha Prasidatang Brahma mahavibhutihi. Okay, so we just finished reading the various attributes of the Supreme Lord, and now we're going to read about what? The Lord's universal form. What verse are we reading up to? 46. No, 43. We're going to read up to this. Rejecting the material world. Okay. So the Lord's universal form. On this earth, there are four kinds of living entities who are all created by him. The material creation is on his lotus feet. He is the great supreme person, full of opulence and power. May he be pleased with us. Purport. The word Mahi refers to the five material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, which rest upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so the feet denotes the earth. On earth, there are four kinds of living entities. Okay, so we're going to go through each one of the limbs of the Lord's. The semen, the mind, mouth, eye, pran denotes the water. Earth, water, moon, fire, sun, air, and a description of each one of these. Okay, purport. The word Mahi refers to the five material elements, earth, water, fire. So I just read this, which rest upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mahatpadam Punya Yasho Murare. The Mahat Tattva, the total material energy, rests on his lotus feet, for the cosmic manifestation is but another opulence of the Lord. In this cosmic manifestation, there are four kinds of living entities. Jarayuja, those born from embryos, Andaja, those born from eggs, Svedaja, those born from perspiration, and Udbija, those born from seeds. Everything is generated from the Lord, as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadasya Yataha. No one is independent. No one is independent, but the Supreme Soul is completely independent. Janmadasya Yaton Vayadi Taratascha Teshvabhigya Sarat. The word Sarat means independent. We are dependent, whereas the Supreme Lord is completely independent. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the greatest of all. Even Lord Brahmā, who created the cosmic manifestation, is but another opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The material creation is activated by the Lord, and therefore the Lord is not a part of the material creation. The Lord exists in his original spiritual position. The universal form of the Lord, Vairajamurti, is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 33. Ambastu yad reta udhara viryam siddhanti jivantyuta vardhamana lokayata takila lokapala prasiddhatam nasa mahavibhutihi. I forgot to sing it halfway through. The entire cosmic manifestation has emerged from water, and it is because of water that all living entities endure, live, and develop. This water is nothing but the semen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has such great potency, be pleased with us. Purport. Despite the theories of so-called scientists, the vast quantities of water on this planet and other planets are not created by mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. Rather, the water is sometimes explained to be the perspiration and sometimes the semen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is from water that all living entities emerge, and because of water, they live and grow. If there were no water, all life would cease. Water is the source of life for everyone. Therefore, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have so much water all over the world. I think, I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but to my understanding, this is, like, what I think is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. It's not just, oh yeah, hydrogen and oxygen, you know, mixed together and that's what created water, but it's due to the Lord. Like the Lord is the actual cause. And so then hydrogen and oxygen come together. Like it's all coming from the Lord. Somang mano yasya samamananti divokasamyo balamandha ayuhu isho naganam prajana prajanang prasidatang na samaha vibhuti. Soma, the moon, is the source of food grains, strength, and longevity for all the demigods. He is also the master of all vegetation and the source of generation for all living entities. As stated by learned scholars, the moon is the mind of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all opulences, be pleased with us. Purport. Soma, the predominating deity of the moon, is the source of food grains, and therefore the source of strength, even for the celestial beings, the demigods. He is the vital force for all vegetation. Unfortunately, modern so-called scientists who do not fully understand the moon describe the moon as being full of deserts. Since the moon is a source for our vegetation, how can the moon be a desert? The moonshine is the vital force for all vegetation. Therefore, we cannot possibly accept that the moon is a desert. Agnir mukam yasya tu jata veda jata kriya khanda nimitta janma anta samudre nupachan swadhatun prasidatang na samaha vibhuti. Fire, which is born for the sake of accepting oblations and ritualistic ceremonies, is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fire exists within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth, and fire is also present in the abdomen to digest food, various secretions for the maintenance of the body. May that supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Yachakshurasit taranir devayanam trayi mayo brahmana esha dhishnyam dvarang chamukter amritam chamrityuhu prasidatang na samaha vibhuti. The sun god marks the path of liberation, which is called Achiradivartma. He is the chief source for the understanding of the Vedas. He is the abode where the absolute truth can be worshipped. He is the gateway to liberation, and he is the source of eternal life, as well as the cause of death. The sun god is the eye of the Lord. May that Supreme Lord, who is supremely opulent, be pleased with us. Purport. The sun god is considered to be the chief of the demigods. He is also considered to be the demigod who watches the northern side of the universe. He gives help for understanding the Vedas, as confirmed in the Brahmā Samhita 552. Yachakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti asesha teja yasya gyaya brahmatisham brahmachakala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The sun, full of infinite effulgence, is the king of all the planets and the image of the good soul. The sun is like the eye of the Supreme Lord. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. The sun is actually the eye of the Lord. In the Vedic mantras, it is said that unless the Supreme Personality of Godhead sees, no one can see. Unless there is sunlight, no living entity on any planet can see. Therefore, the sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Lord. That is confirmed here by the words Yachakshur Asit, and in the Brahmā Samhita by the words Yachakshur Esha Savita. The word Savita means the sun god. Pranarabhuryasya characharanang pranasaho balam ojascha vayu anvasmas samrajam ivanugavang prasedatang na samaha vibhuti. All living entities, moving and non-moving, receive their vital force, their bodily strength, and their very lives from the air. All of us follow the air for our vital force, exactly as servants follow an emperor. The vital force of air is generated from the original vital force of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that Supreme Lord be pleased with us. Okay, so now we're going through. So that was limbs of the Lord, the feet, semen, mind, mouth, eye, and pran. It's the earth, water, moon, fire, sun, and air. Now we're going through the material elements, the demigods, the personalities. Personalities, what's that mean? Oh, okay. The gods of fortune, religion, irreligion, heavenly planets, apsaras. Okay. And the varnas. That's what we're going through now. Material elements. Ears, heart, and navel. Shotradisho yasya hridashchakani prajagire kam purushasya nabhaya. Sorry. Purushasya nabhya pranendriyatmasu shariraketa prasidatang na samaha vibhutihi. May the supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. The different directions are generated from his ears. The holes of the body come from his heart. And the vital force, the senses, the mind, the air within the body, and the ether, which is the shelter of the body, come from his navel. Bala Mahendras Tridasha Prasadan Manyor Girisho Dishanar Virinchaha Kebyastu Chandang Rishayo Medratakaha Prasidatang na Samaha Vibhutihi. This is impossible to say properly in Sanskrit. And there's a Y and a Ri following that. Chandang Shri. Oh God. Whatever. Mahendra. Mahendra, the king of heaven, was generated from the prowess of the Lord. The demigods were generated from the mercy of the Lord. Lord Shiva was generated from the anger of the Lord, and Lord Brahma from his sober intelligence. The Vedic mantras were generated from the bodily holes of the Lord, and the great saints and Prajapatis were generated from his genitals. May that supremely powerful Lord be pleased with us. All right, so that's that. Now the personalities. Shrirvakshasa pitaraschyayasan dharmastanad itarata prishtatato bhut Dhyoryasya shirshno psaraso viharat prasidatang na samaha vibhutihi. The goddess of fortune was generated from his chest, the inhabitants of Pitriloka from his shadow, religion from his bosom, and irreligion, the opposite of religion, from his back. The heavenly planets were generated from the top of his head, and the apsaras from his sense enjoyment. May that supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Vipro mukar brahmachayasya gohyam Rajanya asir pujayor balangcha urvor vid ajongrir aveda shudro prasidatang na samaha vibhuti. The Brahmanas and Vedic knowledge come from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kshatriyas and bodily strength come from his arms. The Vaishyas and their expert knowledge and productivity and wealth the Vaishyas and their expert knowledge and productivity and wealth come from his thighs, and the Shudras, who are outside of Vedic knowledge, come from his feet. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full in prowess, be pleased with us. Lobhodarat pritir uparyad bhututir nasta pashavya sparshena nasta pashavya sparshena kama Bhruvoryama pakshma bhavastu kala prasidatam na samahavibhutihi. Greed is generated from his lower lip, affection from his upper lip, bodily luster from his nose, animalistic lusty desires from his sense of touch, Yamaraj from his eyebrows, and eternal time from his eyelashes. May that Supreme Lord be pleased with us. Okay, we're ending with this verse. Dravyam vaya karma gunan vishesham yad yogamaya vihitan vadanti yad durvibhavyam prabhudapabadham prasidatang na samaha vibhutihi. All learned men say that the five elements, eternal time, fruit of activity, the three modes of material nature, and the varieties produced by these modes are all creations of Yogamaya. This material world is therefore extremely difficult to understand, but those who are highly learned have rejected it. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the controller of everything, be pleased with us. Purport. The word durvibhavyam is very important in this verse. No one can understand how it's happening in this material world by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his material energies. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. Everything is actually happening under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This much we can learn. But how is it happening? This much we can learn, but how it is happening is extremely difficult to understand. We cannot even understand how the affairs within our body are systematically taking place. The body is a small universe, and since we cannot understand how things are happening in this small universe, how can we understand the affairs of the bigger universe? Actually, this universe is very difficult to understand. Yet learned sages have advised, as Krishna has also advised, that this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. In other words, it is a place of misery and temporality. One must give up this world and go back home, back to the personality of Godhead. Materialists may argue, if this material world and its affairs are impossible to understand, how can we reject it? The answer is provided by the word prabhudapabadham. We have to reject this material world because it is rejected by those who are learned in Vedic wisdom. Even though we cannot understand what this material world is, we should be ready to reject it in accordance with the advice of learned persons, especially the advice of Krishna. Krishna says, Mam upete punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana sangsiddhing paramangataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. It's Bhagavad Gita 8.15. One has to return home, back to Godhead, for this is the highest perfection of life. To go back to Godhead means to reject this material world. Although we cannot understand the functions of this material world, and whether it is good for us or bad for us, in accordance with the advice of the Supreme Authority, we must reject it and go back home, back to Godhead. All right, that's our reading for today. So tomorrow, we're going to finish this up. We're going to read about the Detached Lord, respects to the Lord who is silent and free from endeavor, self-satisfied and unattached to the activities of the material modes, just like the unattached air. We wish to see you, and we are surrendered unto you, O Lord. Please make your original form and smiling lotus face visible to our senses. You appear in various incarnations by your sweet will, yuga after yuga, with wonderful uncommon activities that would be impossible. Then he explains the glory of worshipping Lord Vishnu, and then offers his obeisances to the Lord. And then the Lord appears with the effulgence of 1,000 rising suns. Brahma's prayers by the Lord, and then we'll read prayers by Lord Brahma after the Lord's darshan, and the Lord's instruction to churn the milk ocean. We're going to read all about this tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitil Pravishto Vishnupad Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Nitil Pravishto Vishnupad Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishto Vishnupad Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Mahabhagavat Srila Gokshara Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachay Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रात गिरिराज महाराज की जय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की जय श्री भक्ति देवी की जय श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय Shri Lochan Das Thakur Ki Jai, Tadir Shubhatirabhav Titi Ki Jai, Shrimati Uma Didi Ki Jai, Shri Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Alright, see you all tomorrow.